Hello everyone, this is very exciting because this is the first live in my new work. I'm going to talk about inclusivity and how you can incorporate that in your business. And for that, I've invited Esther to join me in this live. I hope she'll be joining us soon. And with her, we're going to discuss inclusivity because that's what she studied, and she's a champion of helping businesses to become inclusive. She focuses on tourism, I focus on experiences, and she wants to help businesses with tools how they can adjust what they do to include everyone. The interesting thing about inclusivity is that usually everybody has their own view on it. So I'm very curious what Esther has to say. I'm just trying to fill the time to wait until she joins. But I've invited her, so let's hope she says that she isn't able to join, but I'm not sure why, because this is usually how it works. Aha, you're there.
Ja, het is gelukt. Leuk!
Yeah, I had just introduced everything and then I ran out of things to fill the time, so I'm happy you're there.
Thank you, Rianne.
So maybe we can start with you introducing yourself and how inclusivity is relevant to you as a person and how you came to be in that field.
Okay, thanks. Thanks a lot, Rianne. First of all, for the invitation to do my first Instagram live. You must know it's my first live. And so I want to thank you for inviting me, to including me in your adventure, because that's already an inclusion characteristic. Inclusion can be treated from many different points. I come from the field of tourism. I have been like 25 years professional in tourism and in tourism academics. I've worked in universities. I've designed tourism study plans. I've done a lot of classes and subjects on tourism. And I reached that point where I thought, wow, the way we are teaching tourism and the way we are teaching our students how to design tourism products is actually as if all the people have 2 ears to see, all the people have 2 ears to hear, all the people could speak, all the people can walk with 2 legs. And in reality, that's not the case. 7 years ago, my mom came for the last time to Spain. I'm living in Spain. I was born in the Netherlands. And she could not arrive alone from the airport to my car, where I was to pick her up. And then I thought, wow, this was the last time she could travel alone because she had Alzheimer. So it made me think a lot about what I was teaching in the university to the students, the way we are designing our products in my field of tourism. But then I thought, let's look around in our daily lives, in the general world. The way we tend to design products and services in general is as if all people are a sort of perfect human beings without any diversity. Everybody is perfect. Everybody is perfect. Although you don't have legs with which you can walk, although you have Alzheimer and your brains don't work anymore, you're still that perfect person because you were born complete. So I started thinking a lot, and it made me change completely my career. I quit doing what I was doing and I started doing a master, studying. I became a student again. I started doing a master on universal design because I was looking for more and new ways different ways to look at how can we offer products and services to create a more inclusive world so that all people can participate in our offers. Because it's not the people that have something wrong with them. It's the environment around them that is not adapted to receive them. But they are complete and perfect as they are. It's us who are not used to design for them, and maybe we lack the skills. So I decided to everything from now on, what I will be doing in my life will be helping others to make their business more inclusive and to make with that our world a more inclusive place.
It's
Sorry for the
interesting.
long introduction, but that is basically...
Oh, it doesn't matter. It's interesting you say so, because I also have inclusivity in my mind, but I noticed that a lot of people also think about inclusivity differently, because I focus really on mental health and the way people think. But through you, I got to think that there are also other kind of inclusivity issues, like visible things or tactile things.
Exactly.
So it's interesting to talk about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Could you give an example on how to make a business more inclusive based on what I do with the quilting?
Yes.
So people can have some
I think that's
practical
also why we connected from the beginning, because of your own business. For the people who don't know us, maybe, I am in Spain, although I was born in the Netherlands. Rihanna is in the Netherlands, but we met in a school. In a school where we learn how to use video to build a business. Okay, so we share a lot of videos talking about our businesses, so that's where I met Rihanna. And I got to know her business, and I fell in love with her business from the beginning, because, wow, I love the fact that what you do with your business is inviting people to find peace and happiness and a quiet moment with the action, the activity of quilting. And quilting might be something that we associate with our grandparents, with elder people. It's not quite known as an activity done by the youth. But we, at the same time, we know that a lot of young people, especially, are lost, you know, in society, with a lot of competition in social media, a lot of competition in general in society, you know, with the social skills we should have and the way we should look. And there's so many things that society asks from us. And it's easy to get lost. And I love the fact that you focus on this group of people that want to find this peace, to do an activity, an easy to learn activity. It's not that easy. For me, it would not be, but I love the fact the way you bring it as an easy to learn activity. I love the fact to see how you have used this activity as well to find yourself, to find a way to give content to your own business, to become an entrepreneur with this type of business, and to promote it amongst the young people. So that's the beginning of where our connection was. And I thought, wow, it's not only a good example of a business focusing on a group of people, a target that maybe is forgotten by many other entrepreneurs. It's also a good example of a business that how easy it can be to find content for a business, a simple activity as quilting, to invite a specific target with difficulties to get along in society with whatever kind of skill, and to offer them an activity with which they can be included and to learn new and different things and to connect between them. So yes, I thought that was very interesting, Rian.
The question though is, and maybe you can help us, like I focus on indeed youth that feels like they don't belong. So they feel like trash, and with quilting I want to learn them they are valuable. But maybe often with people who are not included, it's hard to find them because they're not like participating in society. So how do you find those people?
Ooh, that's a difficult question. Yeah, sure. I think in any business, not only for people who are dealing with some kind of special needs, because I don't like the word discapacidad. How do you say this in English?
Special needs or
Yeah,
disability?
the disabled. The disabled. Sometimes I'm sorry for the Spanish.
It's called them also sometimes disenfranchised, because then it sounds more like it's not their fault, but it's like society who doesn't
Exactly.
give
It's
them choice.
like the disabled people are like putting a stamp on them. They are not good at something. But my experience is that they develop other senses better than other people. So they have a lot of capacities and not only discapacity.
Like,
But
I
anyway,
focus a lot on youth that feel they are too sensitive and maybe think in a different way, like autism and stuff like
exactly.
that. Then they feel like they don't belong, but they have also superpowers that make society more
I
complete.
like that
So
word,
I
superpower.
like to call them disenfranchised, because they are not recognized, but it doesn't mean they're wrong.
Yeah. So how to find them? Well, like in any business, how do you find your clients? Like in any business, if your business is focused on people with special needs or people who can see or people who cannot see, people or whatever, in any business, the challenge is always, how do I connect with my target? So like in any business, we have to study who our buyer persona will be. We have this ideal client and we build a story around this client, how he or she will be, what age, what social media, what environment, what preferences, in what area he or she lives. This buyer persona is someone that we all would have to design for our business. Now, what happens is that most of the people who start a business design this buyer persona as if this person doesn't have any special needs, no disabilities, so to say. Whereas within your same target, your product or service might also be adaptable and might also be suitable for people with those special needs. But as we are not focusing on them from the beginning, our social media is only using video and sound, maybe not subtitles, because we think that people can hear us. But maybe people who cannot hear us, they should be able to read us.
Or
So
very loud videos.
how can we find people who are deaf to use subtitles?
Yeah.
How can we reach people who are blind, for instance, if your website is only focused on clicking with a mouse and then being able to see and read? Blind people cannot see and read your information. So maybe your website should have audio and video subscriptions, audios describing what others would see with their eyes. So there's many tricks of how can you reach those people. Well, by exploring what people would you like to meet. The most simple physical obstacle might be a ramp. If you want your shop to be accessible for people in a wheelchair or for moms carrying a baby in a little pushing car, if you want that, then you should rather fix your entrance with a ramp. So the same for deaf or blind people or people with cognitive problems or issues or special needs. The thing is, we don't regularly focus on them. So when we make a business plan, most of the entrepreneurs and most of the companies focus on people without focusing on their special needs.
My light goes off if I sit too still.
Ah, okay. So move a bit. Yeah, so I don't know if that answers your question. Every business is different and there's so many sub-targets and it's difficult to find people, especially if people are not on social media.
in the context of my business, I work with a lot of, I call them sensory sensitive people. So the ways I do tend to cater for them is to make the environment not too hectic. I usually don't play a lot of music. I also try to not make my social media too loud. I have, for example, videos, but I don't use like lots of loud music, but it's always trial and error. And also keep the information I give in workshops not too much, because then you also get like,
I
but
think,
it's always interesting how to do it. Yeah, it's a
yeah, I
challenge.
think there you give some very
Because
useful tips already.
a lot of my people are also a little bit scared for social situations. So it also sometimes takes longer, I think, to find your target group if they have some kind of special needs,
Yeah,
say it like that.
because what is, for instance, your experience with your target, with your clients, when you would want to make them participate and publishing on socials? Would they like to, or would they rather not appear in socials? Are they not active on socials?
Some are okay with it, but videos is a big thing.
Yeah.
That's actually one of the reasons I really practice doing video, to be a spokesperson for my people, to say, because I am my target group. But video is very difficult for a lot of people because it's very extroverted, and a lot of people don't really dare to.
Exactly, but that's not only for your target. I think in general, even for all the people who are in the community where we connected in the Video Business School, it is a really challenge, you know, to publish and present yourself on video. Actually, this at my age is my first live session on Instagram, so it says enough. Whereas my children, they were maybe born with their mobiles in their hands, and for them the socials is a rather different topic. So it's even more complicated when your target, like in your case, is a target that is really more introvert type of person who is not wanting to publish on socials and is rather seeking like quiet places, right?
Yeah. It's also about perseverance, I think, now, because a lot of the people follow me, but they don't really comment actively.
Ah, yes.
So then it's good to personally engage them, or to trust the process, I guess.
Yeah, the safe space, what you just mentioned, is so important.
Because you're not always sure if you're doing the right thing.
Yeah,
Including people, it's
maybe your approach is more personal when you would call them and ask in a personal conversation what their experience has been with your course, your online course, or your live activity with them. Maybe like a more unique, personalized situation to do like a questionnaire, an interview with them is rather more useful than the typical thing that someone else would do with people who are used to sell on a marketplace, for instance, and they shout and they are happy and they don't have any problem with selling to others with a bunch of public be in front of them. I think when you look at how theaters, for instance, deal with inclusion, is also very interesting. There are some theaters that have really good examples, like the children, the ADHA, the very busy, I don't know this English word, but children who are really, and also the autistic children, they have a lot of problems when they travel, for instance, and when they move from one place to another place, and especially when that place is not secure, it's unknown, they go there for the first time, and they have a lot of anger and fear, and you know, they don't feel welcome. Families sometimes don't travel, they don't go on a holiday because of their children who don't allow them to go to an airport, a hotel, a tourism destination. So in museums, the same thing happens. These families, they want to take their children to a museum or to a theater. But if the reception and if the welcome of those families is not modified, personalized, and if there's not a timeout room in between halfway the play, for instance, where those children can go take a rest, take a break, digest all the impressions that they have. All those little details are very important. But in a regular general theater or a museum, maybe there's no space, no room prepared for those needs. But if you run a museum, if you run a theater, and even if you run a tourism destination management office, you can educate and train the people and the staff, the people who work in those places and the managers of those places. All of them should be trained, because all those places, it's not the people who do anything wrong. They're just excluded because their needs make them want different things that in a regular, normal setting, they're not taken into account. So if we train those people to run more inclusive businesses with simple little details, it can already be improved.
I think it's also a matter about teaching people that there is no norm, because the more I talk about what I do and why I do certain things, the more I notice that more people than you would ever think have like issues with sensory overload or focus and stuff like that, but we don't really talk about it. So it only becomes an issue when it's problematic enough to really change your life.
Yeah, it's absolutely.
So maybe it's better to just educate people that there are different ways to think, and that it's not a problem if you have like a room where you can sit quietly during break instead of talking.
Yeah, the main issue here in society is judging.
Yeah.
Like, the concept that goes hand in hand with inclusion is equality and diversity. So with inclusion, we want equal rights for everybody. And diversity means that everybody is different. Everybody has the chance and the right. It's a human right to be different. We are born complete the way we are. So with whatever special need we are born, or we halfway our life, we get it because of an accident or whatever, then still we should be treated in the same way, and we should have those equal rights. But the thing is that whenever we see something different, we tend to judge.
Yeah, we take it personally as well. Like, for example, I struggle with looking people in the eye when I think. So when I have to really focus on meeting that norm of looking people in the eye to be respectful, I take so much energy doing that I cannot really be the creative self I am. But I notice that a lot of people don't really mind if you look them in the eye as well. But if you take it personally, if you don't, as like disrespect or something, then it becomes really difficult for a lot of people to network, for example, or to even do workshop.
Yeah, it's a very nice example that you give. Yeah, I think that there's very little people who organize network events that give a proper briefing when the event starts. But imagine that you go to this network event and you have this problem that you just described, that for you, it's really difficult to look someone in the eyes because you feel ashamed. It's too close to you. You have this problem that you'd rather look, somewhere else. And then you feel more comfortable and you feel judged about this behavior of yourself. But imagine you have a proper briefing where the event organizer explains what the behavior is, that everything is allowed, that you can expect someone to look you in the eyes or not, that you don't judge if that happens, that there's nothing wrong with that other person, that it doesn't mean that there's no interest in connecting with you, that this person has this other abilities than you have to connect with someone, because that person maybe is much better than you at listening to what you say, because you, as you are focused on looking, maybe you focus more on the appearance, whereas that other person is not so bothered with the appearance, is more bothered with the content, and is maybe even more valuable what that person takes from the meeting than the person focusing on the appearance. So if that is properly explained at the beginning of the network meeting, then maybe there's not a problem at all, not for the receiver, not for the giver. The communication is more equal for everybody.
Yeah. It's interesting you say so. I think this is the last topic because otherwise it will take a bit long. But one thing I was thinking about is organizing like workshops where people talk about difficult subjects or team building and stuff like that while quilting, because then you can focus on doing something with your hands and you don't have the need to look each other in the eye. And I find that if my hands are occupied, I have less stress and you can think easier. What do you think of that?
Wow, I think it's a really nice idea.
For networking?
Yes, because it's exactly what you say. As you are looking already at what you are doing with your hands, the quilting, it could be while you are painting as well. You know, painting workshops could also be suitable for this, because you are focused on your activity, and you know that the objective in the meantime is talk about a difficult topic. So if you prepare well those topics, you can do some very interesting workshops, and you reach your aim of quilting, but at the same time you reach the aim of talking about those difficult issues. So it's even not important anymore what was most important, quilting or the topic. And maybe you, for your own business, you reach different targets because of the topics, and well, it's a win-win. At the same moment, they learn about quilting.
Yeah, my goal with quilting, I use it as a tool towards sustainability, which also includes inclusion and diversity. And the interesting thing is that this could work if people accept quilting as a thing people can do. But now there's a lot of judgment about quilting. But that doesn't matter.
But that is so nice what you say. There's judgment about quilting. But do you know that there's also a lot of judgment about inclusion?
Yeah, because it's perceived to be annoying, right?
I tell people from now on, I only want to help people grow their business by making their businesses more inclusive. And they think like, well, this topic is not so sexy. It's not such an interesting topic. Well, it's the only topic we should really focus on, because if we only look at statistics, we know that we grow older and older in the future. So if we want to become 100, each of us, well, don't think that we become 100 years with a body of someone of 20. So we will become 100, yes, but maybe we will see a little less, we will be a little bit deaf, we can't walk as quick anymore, and you know, our brains don't work. So everybody is going to deal with these special needs in the future. But as we are young and we are still not bothered by how we will be when we are 70 or 80 or 90. But yes, I think for everybody, this is really, really needed. We should
inclusivity is also, for me, sustainability is vital to create a world where we can actually survive longer than this generation, for example. And inclusivity is vital for sustainability because it also means including people in third world countries who produce certain things under terrible circumstances. So inclusivity, you can only have sustainability when everybody can join in a dignified manner. Also the old people, the young people, the Bangladesh people, and my Ugandan friends. So inclusivity is really at the core of everything. Without it, you just can't.
Yeah, and that's what I extra like about your project, because it's really global. It's through inclusion to make a sustainable business, and it's literally something tangible, sustainable. Using the real tangible material to make recycled material, to make something new out of trash, what you call so nice trash. So it's literally sustainable. I
like metaphors.
Exactly. I often use the word sustainable more in the context of social sustainable, like communities that participate by making people including people in the business. Yeah.
Because if you think more about social sustainability, it means that we have to produce our clothing, for example, more sustainable. Otherwise, you cannot have social sustainability. But to have that, you also need to make it economically viable. So that means circular. So it's all connected with each other. You cannot have one without the other. That's why I'm also diving into the theme of social sustainability now, because it seems to be different things, but it's not.
No, it's all related. It's absolutely
Yeah.
related. And I think, yeah, that's why I really like your business concept a lot, because you are a great example of a young entrepreneur taking a topic that is associated with elder people, but you demonstrate that it's really adapted for a young target group. It's sustainable in the sense of using recycling materials, making people, including them in the business, giving them a new value in their own lives, making them connect in a different way with topics, making them connect in a different way with each other. It's scalable, your business. It's really scalable. I can imagine you coming over to Spain and having some quilt workshops here in my area. I would love to find the organizations that you know have access to those people, suitable to make this like a tourism attraction, but for a specific target, and not only for them, mixing them with all kinds of people. It would be lovely.
I think we're going to work together in the future, because I really like your mission of making entrepreneurs more inclusive, because it's in the end also more fun.
Yeah,
it's not only about like money. Money is a means to an end, and it's also about making your business sustainable. For me, it's the only sensible way to go.
Exactly. I think the money is important, but the more fun you have in realizing dreams, not only your own dream, but realizing dreams of other people and really improving the quality of their lives, the more happier you yourself can be. So even if you can make then money with that, wow, there's nothing better we could dedicate our lives with than doing that.
No, exactly.
So
I think that's a beautiful ending.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time as well. And everybody can find you at Wake Up Start Dreaming. You post some interesting questions, kind of daily, I think, these days.
Yes.
And very interesting things are coming from your way, also for people who want to be more inclusive. So look her up, and look me up for quilt workshops, for networking and difficult conversations, and to turn trash into treasure.
Thank
and maybe
you.
Spain in the summer or in the winter when it's warm in Spain.
Yes, let's prepare something nice.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for the invitation, and good luck with the opening of your new place in Almere. Really nice. Congratulations.
Thank you. And have a wonderful day, and thank you everybody for joining. And I'll post this on YouTube later, so I will let it know.
Great. Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Adios.